So, just like everybody else, I have been tuned in to Love is Blind because I'm kind of a hoe when it comes to Love is Blind. I still need to watch Love is Blind Habibi, by the way. So, as I was watching, I knew clearly who the villains were, which were pretty much all the men, right?
That's right, I said it.
And as one does after watching an episode, you go straight to TikTok because you want to see what the girlies are thinking. You want all the think pieces. But come to find out, everybody hates Hannah.
Hannah was not nasty. Hannah was more than nasty.
Hannah was abusive.
And who cares if he called her a grenade? He said that in privacy.
Hannah, just because you got a new face doesn't mean you're still not a terribly mean person. It's still mean, still nasty, still rude.
My entire opinion on Nick and Hannah has completely changed after watching the reunion. And I honestly can't believe what I'm about to say, but my opinion has also changed about Marissa, and not in a good way. First of all, I don't care if this man called her a grenade to his friends in confidence. I don't care if this man wrote a note saying that he wants to be the most famous cast member of Love is Blind. You can't tell me that this girl went on to Love is Blind and stayed there the whole season just to be mean to Nick because she wasn't chasing some social media clout too. I think Hannah so badly wanted to get some tea on Nick and wanted to expose him so badly to get some of the heat off of her back, but in the process actually proved more of a point that she is in fact mean and that Nick is in fact the victim.
See this shrimp, Nick? Just throw it in the air fryer. Do you even own an air fryer, Nick?
Are we all watching the same show? Because how is she getting more hate than Nick? Hi, love. Well, I'm hoping that you've actually watched Love is Blind season 7. Everything from the episodes to the reunion. Spoiler alert, because what are you doing if you haven't watched it, okay? However, what I do want to discuss in this video, the treatment of Hannah, and how it honestly reflects that we really thought we were there yet when it comes to misogyny, but we really are not. Let's discuss how we are more of a fan of the ideology of feminism or misogyny on paper, but when it comes to seeing it in 4K, we can't recognize it. It feels foreign. And in as much as some people think that we are approaching the 4B movement, we are actually way back. And this show really showed that to an extreme level that I feel we need to discuss. Before we actually get into Tim, let's actually acknowledge that Hannah is not the perfect person. She is rude, by the way. She is abrasive, and her honesty really comes off as harsh. I'm not gonna diagnose her. I don't think anyone honestly has the right to, especially when it comes to reality TV personas. Now we get all that out of the way, that doesn't justify the way she's been treated online. Like, the crime doesn't fit the punishment. You would think she unalived somebody's dog the way some of you are writing hard on hating her, and you really need to ask yourself, why do you have this huge hatred? Like, it's not like, oh, I dislike her as like one of the characters I see on reality TV. No, this is a deep-rooted hateness that I haven't seen in a while, especially from women to another woman. What's funny is that whenever someone comes online and talks about all the things Nick did, that like a whole list of them that are really, really gross and bad, the responses by the women is that, yeah, but she was mean. What? What? Nick is a liar and a manipulator. He completely lied his ass off when they were in the pods, okay? He gave this persona that he's this big dog, that he was, you know, NFL player, whatever. I'm not in America, so I don't really understand what that is.
I'm sorry, are we watching the same Love is Blind season 7 episodes? Because so many of y'all are coming to his defense when he's the villain. Framed himself as an all-American football player. Does he give that in physicality? No. This man said he was 5'11". This man's not 5'11". He's not 5'11". He's not 5'11". This man also leads with a very corny but flirty personality that can come off as confident. Would you say this man is confident in himself? Be for real. Be honest. This man talked himself up to be a big dog in the pods and came out a little puppy.
As someone who met Nick in the pods and talked to the other women, do you think it was more Nick misleading how he is, or just, you all kind of assuming that he looked a certain way?
I don't even know how to describe how Nick D sounded in the pods. Like, this man is cool. Like, he's just so confident in his voice. So seeing him in person, I was like, whoa, he looks like his age. Like, he just looks like he's a guy who's about 10 years younger than me. I think that in terms of Hannah and the comment she made around, he said he was a different height. My opinion and perspective on that, it might be a combination. Like, I do think that he did say his height was like 6'1" or 6'2" to her, or something of that nature. I believe he said he was a height that he is not. But then I also think that I imagined, like, he just told me he played football. He made it seem that way. So I don't know. When I saw him, I was like, whoa.
So he just said he played professional football? That's it?
To me, he certainly did say he played professional football.
Wow, that's definitely misleading.
He made himself out to be taller than he actually was. He also said that he can cook.
I'm gonna do the dishes.
Because I can do everything. Okay.
I'm gonna do the laundry. I'm gonna make us food. I'm gonna clean the dishes. Like, I'm gonna put them in the dishwasher, and I'm gonna get groceries.
That's the patriarchy in our house.
Sound good?
So you're gonna cook for me. What's something that you love to cook that's like your specialty?
I could do like a fish dish. I could do salmon. Salad. I could pick up salad and just put it in a bowl. Yeah.
He told this woman to her face that he can cook, basically selling out this persona that he's gonna be there and take care of her, and like he's this big dog. And yet he lives in his parents' basement. Isn't that the same person y'all would call a bum if they came online? But because she was mean, we have to cancel all that out. Okay, let's continue. I would say Nick is like Todd from Girlfriends. My girlfriend. Right? He lied to her. But when you think about him from a general point of view, you think he's a good guy, right? But he lied.
Listen, since neither one of us cooks, would you like to have dinner sometime?
No, sorry, don't date short men.
Okay, that's pretty...
honest.
If that's how you want to spin it.
No spin. I think you're a really nice guy. And I could always use a good doctor friend. But everybody has their standards. You have to be at least this tall to ride this ride. Thank you.
I'm not sure we can afford one of these.
Why? It's only $1 million down.
I don't have $600 grand. I was renting on my credit cards.
You're broke?
He lied. We're forgetting, but these men lie, which just makes things worse. Also, Jim from The Office, one of my favorite shows, nobody likes Pam in season 9. Actually, after season 4, they hate her because she is not the damsel that they want her to be. She's confident. She speaks out.
My brother just unloaded the jet skis and kind of took a bath, so we're gonna go get hammered.
Okay, well, we're going to a bar. Hey, you have to come to stuff with me. I'm serious. If you're gonna be my boyfriend, you have to do boyfriend things. I've decided that I'm going to be more honest. I'm gonna start telling people what I want directly. So, look out, world, because old Pammy is getting what she wants.
She calls bullshit, right? That's what Anna does, calls it out, Hannah, right? They don't like season 9 Pam because she's making Jim not be in his best, whatever, get his career on. But he lies to her every time. He tells people different things without communicating with her. Exactly what Nick does. Oh, is that his name? Nick? Tim? I don't know. Nick, whatever. Yeah, Nick. He lies to her face. He lies to her face on camera. But he tells other people other things about her that is not attracted to her, right? And because of that, we should have gone ding, 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 right? That means that he is trying to put a persona, right? That his intentions for coming on the show are not good. And also to add on that, he wrote on a paper or diary, whatever, that he wants to be the most famous person on Love is Blind. And I know some people want to cancel out that and be like, well, she invaded his privacy.
It was so irrelevant and meaningless to me. That's why I left that notebook on our counter every single day we lived together. I knew it was in there, and you know, if she wanted to look through it, fine. But I felt like Hannah.
A lot of people coming at this from like a Hannah was invading Nick's privacy standpoint. I want to remind you that he said very clearly during the reunion that he does not care. He did not care if Hannah read this. He left that journal out all over the place. He did not care if she found it. He did not care if she read this. So you guys can quit writing so hard for him. The man himself clearly doesn't care. Second of all, let's not pretend like if Nick would have found this and this was in Hannah's journal, let's not pretend like the internet would not be up in flames trying to burn the woman alive right now. If Nick was the one to disclose this information, everyone would be on Hannah's neck right now. But because it's Nick, nobody cares. You guys have decided to make a saint out of him and nothing's going to change your mind. That's really annoying because this actually explains a lot about his behavior. So it explains why he didn't talk about the fact that he wasn't attracted to Hannah on camera and he only did that behind her back. Which again, people are making him out to be a saint for that, but he's not a saint for that. He was doing a calculation in his head the whole time of if I go on camera and I say that I'm not attracted to her physically, that's not going to go over well with all the women watching this show. If I treat this woman outright like crap, the women watching the show are not going to like that. So I think you guys do not know who the real Nick is at all. For y'all to be standing him all over the internet, you guys don't know the real person.
He came on that reunion show and said that he doesn't care. That's why he left it out there. He left it for everybody to see because he doesn't care, right? So already that should have told us that everything that he's been doing is a lie. The same thing that we talked about when Trevor, I don't know if you guys watched the last season, where he got exposed for coming on the show for the wrong reasons. We cared so much. And remember the persona that he had because he knew he was on camera? He was this sweet guy. Everybody loved this big giant. Everybody had a crush on him.
The day she passed away was the day that Chelsea ended things with me in the...
You mean to tell me that not only did Trevor get dumped on international television, but he also went home to a dead dog?
And then when you found out that he came on the show for the wrong reason, everybody was like, ooh. Now the same thing is happening with Nick, but y'all don't seem to care. Why is that? Because she's mean? Because Hannah is mean? Thinking that Hannah, for saying the things that she did, for doing the things that she did, which were mostly true, by the way, is mean, is the same reason why men in workplaces can be, you know, assertive and, you know, get things done and be called great. He's a champ. He's cool. He's a leader. But when a woman does it, she's a bitch. She's mean. She's aggressive. All those tones, all those microaggressions towards this woman. Ooh, you love to catch it. You love to know all those undertones when it's towards you. When you are the one in the spot. But when it's someone whom you wanted to act a certain way, you can't see it. You wanted Hannah to be your entertainment, to play her role. And what do I mean by that? Hannah didn't stick to the script. You must always stick to the script. You must always be blissful. Cry in front of the camera. Watch all the red flags and not do anything about them, really. Because if you do and call it out as it is, that's not gonna make good reality TV for the viewers who are like 70% women, I should say. She was supposed to be like Marissa. See all the red signs, not really do anything about it, cry, become that perfect little, you know. And did you see what happened? As soon as Marissa stood up and started talking, everybody switched up.
My entire opinion on Nick and Hannah has completely changed after watching the reunion. And I honestly can't believe what I'm about to say, but my opinion has also changed about Marissa. And not in a good way.
She got her voice back. Everybody hates her now. Everybody doesn't like her. That's very interesting, isn't it? That just now she was the perfect victim. Everyone's feeling sorry for her. But as soon as she got her voice and started talking, y'all wanted her to shush, to keep quiet. I heard it. I heard some people say, oh, now I know why Ramses didn't choose her. She's a mouthful. She talks too much. Hannah talks too much. Shh, you should be a woman and keep quiet. Not my words. The comments said that. But I just thought that was interesting. People hate that Hannah showed them what they can't do, basically. There's a lot of women that come online, I've talked about this before in my previous videos, that come online, post their husbands not being, using weaponized incompetence, right? Is that how I'm supposed to say it? English, voila. It'll be a video of a man being told by his wife, can you please put the,
My wife told me one night, she said, Sean, I'm going to bed early. I left some food on the stove. Can you put it away before you go to bed? I said, sure. There are 4 pots on the stove. I go to the refrigerator, I make room, and I put each pot neatly into the refrigerator. I put the food away. She comes down the next day, goes to the refrigerator, sees that I put the 4 pots in the refrigerator, and says, why did you put the pots in the refrigerator?
So the point he was attempting to make is that women need to be more specific when they're asking for certain things from their partner. And I feel like that's a disingenuous argument. I think this is weaponized incompetence. You did the job technically, but you didn't do the job effectively. Now, it's one thing if you saw when she put the food away, she put the pots in the fridge. But if you knew that she usually puts the food in Tupperware bowls, she usually runs the pots to the dishwasher, like you know her usual process, why would you intentionally do it wrong? I know why you did it, because you wanted to do it badly so she'll never ask you to do it again. But since you like examples so much, let me try. Let's say you're super tired and you call home and you're like, are you making dinner? And I said, yes, I'm making dinner. And you're like, okay, that's fine. You pass all of these fast food restaurants, all of these other options, and you come all the way home, only to find that on the counter, there is a frozen lasagna that takes 2 hours to cook. If you wanted me to preheat the oven and put it in there and follow the instructions and bake the lasagna, why didn't you tell me? Why weren't you specific? These are the same men that claim they want to be leaders, but need a step-by-step tutorial for leftovers.
And then they'll film that, and then everyone in the comments divorce him, weaponize incompetence, he knows exactly what he's doing, mental load, all those type of words, all those rhetorics are talked about, right? And everyone is agreeing. Everybody's agreeing. And now there's a grown man, a 28-year-old man, who needs to be told to take out the trash, how to cook pasta.
You can boil some pasta.
That's boring.
We asked if I needed help.
I want to be on there halfway.
How to boil water. Suddenly, Hannah's reaction, which is the same reaction we always have in the comments, is now rude, judgmental, looking down on him. That man is a man, baby. And I would have reacted, ooh, if my husband asked me or looked in the fridge for pasta, oof. I don't know what you see, I can't even imagine that, because that would never happen to me. Because my husband, oof. That's why y'all, it's crazy, because Hannah is the epitome of what we are preaching, not to decenter men, right? To go for the men that are not gonna make us regret being married after 40 years, going for men that are not gonna need a mom. These are the things that we've been preaching about. These are the things that we've been wanting for ourselves. Women are out there warning each other, if he does this, get out before you are there 7 years being his mom, washing everything he does, cleaning up after him. Hannah noticed that, clicked it. She talked about it. She was assertive about it. She communicated about it. She wrote down things. Because I have this creator that I love, her name is Cecilia. She talks about, actually, let me just play the video.
Imagine you live in LA with your boyfriend.
So everyone's seen this by now. This girl was with her boyfriend. He said he wanted to move back to Texas to be closer to his family. She gave up her career, made a bunch of sacrifices, spent all this money on the move. And it was a several month process. She's thinking it's all worth it for the love of my life. We're in this together. And as soon as she's done everything, he breaks up with her. This was so avoidable. You know what the clue was? 3.5 years. He said you were incompatible and you never had anything in common because that's how he always felt. Men are very calculating. They will use you to the last inch of your usefulness. Stop having boyfriends. Dismantle the boyfriend industrial complex. That is A.V. Perkins' original term. Having a boyfriend does not serve you as a woman. She put in all of this real-time labor. She was building this man furniture. She spent her money on his move. And as soon as he had milked her for all of her labor and she outlived her usefulness, he chucked her. Now, he did say he wanted to move from LA to Texas to break up with her. She should have gotten the hint because he said, I want to move. He didn't say, I have a plan for us to move closer. Here's how I see our future progressing. He said, I want to. And, she forced herself along. And yes, of course, men know what they're doing. They're using you on purpose. They should stack up and be men and say, I don't want to be with you if they don't want to be with you. But they want the labor. This is about learning how to protect yourself. Because he was going to leave it there. But once she started making herself useful and paying for the whole thing, he was like, well, let's see what else I can get out of this. Another reason she should have known she wasn't welcome. He goes on the family vacation with his family. Is she invited? No. Is she part of it? She's sitting at home building his furniture, creating a lovely space for the two of them to share. I'm not saying in relationships there won't be compromise and whatnot, but what you are giving up needs to be in proportion to what you are getting. She gave up half of her career, her job stability, and all of her savings because now she's living in Florida with her mother. She gave all of this up because of some vague promise about the future. Oh, I know he wants a future with me because he said so. Did he show you so? Did you get a ring? Did you get the actual marriage certificate? Did he invest in your future? What concrete proof do you have to point to? Relationships are a business. And the reason why so many men are making out like bandits is because they're giving you air while you give them the concrete labor. They're paying you dust. Oh, baby, one day in the future, I want to love you someday. Oh, I know we're going to be together. Oh, I know we're meant to be. And in exchange, you're giving him your body, your time, and your effort. Get it together. At this point, a lot of women are in a cult. He is giving you promises of heaven, and you are giving him real, tangible things. So how can you avoid this? First of all, have a timeline. The timeline is for you. It's inside your head. Don't go talking about it with the man. I personally recommend a year. You're good and grown. Either the man wants to be with you or he doesn't. I'm just rolling my eyes at this 3.5 years of happiness tagline. No, 3.5 years for him of free sex, free labor, you contributing your paycheck to the household because he seems like a broke loser. 3.5 years of free maid service for him. I'm sure he was thrilled. And what did you get out of it? A lot of debt in your life is derailed. Which brings me to point number 2. Start writing things down. Okay, it's easy to get caught up in the feeling of it all. But you need to be charting from the beginning. Is this man adding tangibly to my life? What is he doing? And I mean all of it. Your feelings in the relationship, what you all do on your dates, etc., etc. It goes down. It goes on a diary. It goes on a spreadsheet. It goes in your phone notes app. Whatever you like. Just write it down because it's easy to remember the highs and it's easy to forget the lows. But when it's in front of you in black and white, there's no way to deny it. Hey, we've been fighting every week. He's been making me cry every other week. We've been having major fights about his trustworthiness. I see him looking at other women a lot. He watches porn constantly. Whatever. Write it down. Review it. That way, when you see those red flags in retrospect, you can get the hell out immediately. Leave at the first red flag. And if you miss it the first time, by going back and reviewing, you are bound to see the red flags.
There is nothing wrong putting your thoughts down, communicating that to the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with. Hannah got out of a situation she knew would not benefit her in the long run. And one thing I want to point out is Nick's responses to everything that has been happening. The way that on the show, he would just be like, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. I guess I'll try to do better. Like, he was never honest with his responses or assuring her that he really sincerely apologizes for the way he's been acting, because it's been a lie, right? Because she's complaining about these things because when they were in the pods, he really made sure that she knew that he was going to do everything and be this and this and that, and now he's not doing that, and he's just been so calm with his responses, which has manipulated y'all, because it's a persona, right? This puppy guy who has this nagging wife, that nagging trope that men love, right? What's that show again? Breaking Bad. You see how the men hate Skylar? She's nagging. She's just, telling him what to do. He just wants to, that sort of thing, right? Well, she wouldn't have to if he would just grow up, right? She wouldn't have to do all those things. We kind of forced to look. If she married him and they had kids one day, then he would be like the cool dad, right? And she would be left being the mom that's responsible, that takes on the load, the mental load and everything. Oof. I'm probably getting off track. Looking at some of the women, actually all of the women on the show, Hannah was supposed to be like the rest of them. She was not supposed to call anything out. She was supposed to stick it out, right? And be ashamed and be a fool, be made out to be a fool and stupid as y'all making the other ladies be. Especially, what's her name? Oh, I'm forgetting her name, but her. Y'all love to say, oh, how could she not see that? She went along with it knowing da. That's what y'all wanted Hannah to be. To be, oh, how dare she, you know? It's funny, though, that the women are getting the most hate out of this when the men have just been nothing but literal trash. Because how is Ashley getting the most heat out of Tyler, the actual man, right? People are calling her all names in the book, right? I also called her, like, not very smart, you know? But Tyler, right? I think it's just showing that this whole thing is just showing that we are just so far deep in misogyny that we would rather, I literally saw this in the comments, like, let's actually make Tim famous just to rub it in our face. If Tim? Why do I keep saying Tim? If Nick is what y'all are drooling over, then the bar is on the floor. It's in hell at this point. If he's the one that you are riding and dying for.
And all these women are fighting over this man. And you know what's even worse? This man has like, probably by now, the last I checked, he had like 95,000 followers on Instagram. Who do you think those followers are? Men? Do you think men are following this man? Because if you go to his page, it's all these women being like, Hannah was so mean. Hannah's a bully. Hannah's a villain. Hannah's abusive. I'm not going to say that's reactive abuse. I don't even like that term. But when a man promises a bunch of stuff, gaslights you, does all this stuff, and then literally isn't the person he sold you on at all. The only thing she lied about was her looks a little bit. She has a right to be pissed and annoyed. And also, of course, they cut out all the time she was nice. That in one of her interviews, she was like, yeah, when you're seeing me being mean to him, it's because I've already tried to be nice 20 times. Any woman who is married to a king baby knows exactly what that's like. And just like Marissa, Hannah was so fun in the pod, so bubbly, so full of positive energy. And the wrong man, the lazy man who will not do anything, who doesn't want to protect you from STIs and pregnancy because he just wants his pleasure. The wrong man will literally turn you into the most stressed out, worst version of yourself. If you're not glowing up in a relationship, he is slowly killing you. You won't realize until 10, 20 years later, you have all these autoimmune diseases and you're like, why? It's because you have so much anger and stress from one man. But he's just one guy. You know, Hannah was just too hard on him. What is this woman doing with this dude? He's not even hot.
But anyway, these are all my thoughts that I just had to gush out because I've been talking on TikTok and there's only like... I've been talking on TikTok and I created a new TikTok account, so it isn't really like reaching a lot of people. But I had to put out my 2 cents, right? It's like nighttime, literally. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this at night. My husband isn't here. He's out playing football. He's a footballer. No, like as a hobby, as a hobby. And this is my hobby, right? So, I'm just here with my little cat. She's sleeping. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna talk about the next Love is Blind, or if you guys want me to talk about other people on Love is Blind, like a deep dive of them, why not? A deep dive of a couple, why not? We'll make that a part 2. I don't know, these things, that's how I hate like social media sometimes. Like things go like so fast. Like by the time I post this video, none of this will be relevant. Like next to the next topic, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how fast things go. And like, people don't make albums anymore. Like people don't like marinate on like a topic. It's always like it comes out, like news comes out the next day. People are making think pieces. Like I need time to grasp before I make my own think piece. But like yeah, that was so unnecessary. But like oversharing. But anyway, how do you guys like my hair? I actually did curls for the first time on this wig. It's been a minute. It's a glueless wig from Hair Vivi. If you like, literally so nice. If you like, link in the description. See you guys next time. Bye.